everything. So there was a time, and I'm sure you know about the Kim and Ray J thing,
Of course.
and as everybody did, and it was just a funny thing at the time.
No, I'm just playing. No.
It was a funny thing at the time.
We're gonna edit that part.
We're gonna edit it. Okay. It was a very funny thing at that time because I remember somebody deduced that the day I was conceived, being real close to that point in time when that that situation was happening. And it was funny. It didn't take too long for people to be like, oh shoot, does that mean he's probably his son and his mom probably kept? And this is my first time having any kind of celebrity drama stuff like that. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I'm not sure on what to do and stuff like that. And I remember it touched TMZ at one point. And when I'm with him, I'm getting reporters, we're getting all this other stuff. And then I remember being told just like, don't address it. Don't say yes, don't say no, just leave it be. And I'm like, he knows what he's doing, because like that's just creating more buzz around me. That's bringing more people in up until there's a point it died out. Then it was like realizing like, okay, that wasn't the situation and everything. But it's just a lot of, I experienced a lot of just funny and cool, crazy things within the industry. And man, like in the back rooms of these clubs, in the back rooms of certain parties or this or that, like just 12 or 13 and doing this stuff. But it was, like I said, it was a big jump into my career. It was, I'm glad I got to experience all that I had.
We can't just breeze past that. So at one point in time, TMZ and other
other little
sites,
yeah.
They thought that Kim and Ray J were your parents.
Right.
Wow.
Very crazy.
I went from condos to Pop's house, on calls now bus route.
What's up? It's your boy Paul P. I serve God. I'm not God. This is just my opinion. And welcome to another episode of the Nothing to Something podcast. So today we have a special guest for you all. We have a guest who have done his thing as a music artist and actor, and have acted on shows and series like Shameless on Showtime and hit TV series Swagger on Apple. He has also collaborated musically with artists like Brandy and Ray J. We have the one and only Ozie, aka Z Money, in the building.
What's going on, y'all?
What's up, bro?
Hey, I'm happy to be here.
You good? How's your day going, man?
My day going great, man. I'm still juggling the school thing. I'm on my last semester college criminal justice major. You feel me? And
nice.
Did some knocking out studying at the library before stopping by here. But I'm glad I made it.
Man, yeah. God is good. Also too, man, because we in LA, so how's everything been? Dealing with the fires and all of that.
It's been crazy. I thank God that my family was not affected. There's a couple close calls where we did have to evacuate because it kind of got, the Kenneth Fire being the closest to us, kind of got a little too close for comfort. We could smell the smoke, we could see it, everybody rushing out the neighborhood, and we all had to just quickly find a hotel out the way. But thank God it was stopped. All the firefighters, everybody that helped, the cops, everybody who did their thing to make sure, that fire got taken care of. I appreciate you sending my love. And I'm also sending my love to all the people's homes that were affected. That was really an insane thing to watch, because when it first started, I didn't even know there was fires going on. We had a blackout and crazy winds in my area, but I didn't know until much later. I was still able to check social media, and I was like, dang, this is looking insane, man. But gotta thank God that, they did their thing there, at least on my side. I'm still praying for the Palisades, the Eaton fire and everything, because they're going through it, man.
Yeah. Definitely, man, keep LA. People, everyone, keep LA in your prayers, man, because it, it's sad, man, because, we're actually here.
Yeah.
So, we weren't in the fires and had to deal with it like people in the Pacific Palisades or Pasadena. Yeah. But because we're here, we could kind of see the effect. Out from here, we was able to see the fires that were in the Hollywood Hills.
Yep.
So, you guys had to evacuate.
Yeah.
So, definitely prayers go out to all the families, who lost their homes and also for the individuals who lost their lives, and their families as well, man. So, thank God that we're here.
Yep.
Thank God that your family got through it, unscathed and everything like that. You know, God is good, man.
All the time.
Yeah. So, Ozie, man, I'm glad that you're here to tell your story. And, you know, here on the Nothing to Something podcast, we like to start from the beginning. So with that being said, let's go all the way back. You were born in Monrovia, California, right?
Yes, I was. Yes,
Wow.
I was. Yes, sir.
What was it like growing up as a kid in Monrovia, California? Because a lot of people heard LA, but they haven't heard Monrovia. So go into that a little bit.
A lot of people don't know it exists, and it's very funny because when I used to say it after I moved, and everybody was like, "That sounds like a mythical land, Monrovia. What is that?" And it's literally nothing that's too special. I mean, I love it because that's where I came from. That's where I grew up around and everything. But nice little area. You know what I mean? Can't say too much about it. I was the only one doing what I was doing at that time in that area. So like as far as like music was the only thing I was doing when I first started in the industry and stuff. Okay. So not a lot of people got it, and when I did, there's some people that thought it was cool, some people that was hating. Henceforth, my first song being called Hater Free was like, hey, I ain't worried about that, this and this and that. But I had a great childhood. Amazing. I had a lot of millions and millions of friends, which is why when we were told we was going to move, I was like, no, this is what my life is. Me being a kid, I didn't want to, but what happened for the better, mainly because like since I moved, like, you know, all that I was able to accomplish after I left. So, you know, God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah. And Monrovia is cool though, you know, because I'm from LA, but for school for a couple of months, I stayed like in the La Puente area. Oh, you know, like right over there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, and when you over there, I don't know if y'all did that too, but when you're over there, you still, when people ask, you know, where you live, you still say LA. I don't know if y'all still did that in Monrovia.
We still say LA.
Okay. Yeah. Because it's LA County.
It's LA County.
You know?
We're not going to be like our own separate. Like, no, LA.
Yeah.
But it was a nice little town. You know what I mean? I had a great time there with all my peoples, just going into cool stores or traveling to whatchamacallit. There's this damn area that like, well, we weren't really supposed to go to this because it's not really all that safe, if I'm being honest. But I got to do all the little rambunctious things that every kid could dream of. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm glad I got to experience a lot of that before going into what I got into later. Meaning like when I moved and I did online school and I didn't have enough time to actually go to in-person school, so I'm glad I got all that out the way. You feel me? But it was a great time over there. Love Monrovia. Amazing, man. Yeah. Now I know, you know, your mother was a big part of your life, you know, but growing up, were you raised by both parents in the household? Yeah. Okay. Yes, I was. Happy, healthy family. Thank God every day. Beautiful. What about siblings? Are you the only child? No, I got one older brother, Sean, and he is just as big part of my life and a part of my big support system, being my mom, my dad, my brother. You know what I mean? Nice. And a lot of people, funny enough, some people be asking like, hold on, like, oh, you got both parents and this and that. It's because my dad works all the time, y'all, to provide for the family. Amen to that. Amen to that. You know what I mean? You know? He's there to support whenever he can, and like, you know, with the bigger events, then he'll come with me and stuff like that. But it's funny because he doesn't have no social media, none of that. So I get why people, I guess, would be like, I guess it's just his mom, because my mom being like, she was the momager. You know what I mean? Everything when I started. So we attached by the hip. Everywhere I go, you would see my mom. So I kind of get where that came from. But yes, 2-parent household and an older brother, greatest support system I can ask for. Beautiful, man. I'm glad that you point that out as a young black man, because, you know, we hear the opposite so many times. Yeah. You know, Pops wasn't around, you know, just Moms was in a house and everything like that. But you like, nah. My pops was working. He was working. Pops was there. He was there. You know, we not even gonna do that. We ain't doing none of that. We ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying? So that's beautiful, man. You know, when and I always say, you know, when it come down to having both parents in a household, growing up, you get the tools that you need a lot faster. You know, because a lot of times when you don't have that male figure as a young boy in a household, you bump your head on concrete a lot. You go through things that you did not learn as a kid because you didn't have pops around. So just having pops around, I'm sure that you was able to gain certain tools and become more mature at a young age to know how to move as a man, right? No, yeah, definitely. And I thank God every day that I wasn't one of, that side of the demographic that had to go through that, you know what I mean? But still shouting out the other side of the single parents of either a single mom or a single dad that did all they could and still hold it down. I got a lot of friends with that situation, upstanding citizens to the day. They got all the proper tools because their mother had to be the mom and the dad, or the dad had to be the mom and the, you know what I mean? But they did doing their best. But yes, I will say I'm very much blessed to have had both and getting all the tools I needed for as a man from my dad, whether that learning how to shave or, work ethic or this, and then from my mom, the nurturing side, the caring side, the loving side, the never quitting side, you know what I mean? So it's like I got two amazing parents.
Yeah. Did you get whoopings growing up?
Yes. Yes. Understatement. If my mom's watching, never. No, never that. But within reason, I was rambunctious. I was a lot. You feel me? As a kid, I was getting into some kind of, you know what I mean? Nothing too crazy. Like, you ain't bring me home with the cops or nothing like that. But, you know what I mean? I was just always bouncing off the walls, doing something that I probably wasn't supposed to. So
Yeah. You know, black parents don't play.
They don't play.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I keep it straight 100. I'm like, yeah, we used to get with the extension cords and everything.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Nah, man, but we keeping it real. Hey, how was like you said it was pretty like cool, growing up, but just to explain it a little bit, how was like your home life? Did you feel that you were growing up in a safe and secure environment, or did you kind of go through some of those struggles as a family, coming up?
I always felt like I was in a safe and secure environment. I mean, well, one thing I got Nigerian parents. Yeah. I'm Nigerian, you know what I mean? So there's going to be a little kind of push and pull because since I was raised out here, and there's going to be some kind of disconnect of like, either where at times it's being looked at like, oh, I'm probably being disrespectful, but like over here, like, no, it's not. It's just me being. But other than that, no, yeah, everything I'm glad to say I haven't really had to go through deep problems within the family home. I was in a very safe and caring environment. You know what I mean? Like my house was like literally my home was the most loving home. All my friends and all our people in our area was always welcome. They always know like, oh, if you ever need anything, my mom gonna give you a ride. You ever need food, my mom gonna cook you out somewhere, house everybody, or drop you off at school or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like I can say I had an awesome childhood.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. Sure. Growing up too, what would you say your personality was kind of like? Because you're an actor and you do music, so was there anything that happened in your childhood that made you and your parents realize like you need to start acting, and you do your thing with music? What was it about your personality that like kind of like made that stand out?
I speak on the music first. Music being the number one thing in my life. Acting, that wasn't even a thought at the time. And funny enough, as far as acting, my brother actually was the first actor in our family. Yeah. And he did commercials, like Kool-Aid commercials or gaming, whatever at the time. And I remember going with him to some auditions and this and that, but I did not care for it. I only cared about music. So within that, I would do, I would be like singing along to stuff on what's it called? Either like BET or this, like whatever is playing. I'm always singing, I'm always rapping, I'm always like doing covers of songs and stuff like that. Yeah. And I'll just say that was always a big part of me whenever we went to like family events or functions and stuff. And by that time I already got the name Z Money from my dad being like, okay, so OZ, Z being second letter of my name. And then my dad would be like Z Dollars, Z this until we landed on Z Money. Dope. And so whenever we go to like family events and stuff like that, they would just take a second pause and I'll freestyle, but not like covers of different songs and stuff like that. And everybody would cheer. There's probably some little videos on YouTube somewhere. But that was always an apparent thing to everybody. Like, okay, yeah, he loves music, he loves this. But it was like, I don't know, around, I guess, 11 being it more serious when I actually started going to the studio for the first time and actually thinking like, okay, I might have a future in this. And then, my mom, my amazing mother, momager, doing everything she could to kind of learn about the industry, learn what that would take, what I would need to get to that point to like start recording and be this and go here and da-da-da. And yeah, man, that was pretty much it. They always knew music was on me, but acting is something I actually just fell into. That just came later in life, and that's after I moved. Yeah. And I was about 15, 16 the first time I kind of like ventured into that. Yeah. And people need to know, man, because I know your mom. Your mom is a beast, relentless. Relentless. One, I'll tell you this, man. I knew this from the first time I met your mom. I was like, okay, this is an individual who gonna make sure she get what she want, how she want it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Tough, man. That's what's up. Sir. You mentioned as a kid,
you really didn't care for acting, and it's crazy because I don't know if you ever heard of young actor who was on the Hughleys who went by the name of DJ. He started acting at like 5 years old, and he was on the Hughleys.
Yeah.
You know, and he was actually kind of talking about that, how like he didn't really care for it too much, but his parents got him into it, and he did it, you know, and it kind of like showed it wasn't something he was passionate about because, you know, he got older, kind of got in the streets, he got his face all tatted up and everything like that, you know, maybe not having the right, you know, individuals and people around him to like, you know, give him other tools, but, you know, he's in music now, but he explained that as well, how, you know, acting wasn't really my thing, you know, would you say that was kind of what it was for you? You wasn't really like, I don't want to do this, I'd rather do music, but you was kind of pushed in that direction, or you eventually started growing into that direction?
So with that, I didn't go looking for acting. It literally found me. As corny as that sound, like it found me. You know what I mean? I didn't go thinking like, oh, you know, I want to do this or that. It was quite literally. It was one of these days I was in the studio actually. Okay. And I'm assuming the guy that came in, he was like leasing the building above. I guess he liked what he was hearing. He comes down. He's like, oh man, he gives us our props. I had like a couple of homies in the stew with me, and he was like, oh, give him the props. Like, this sounds good. This sounds great. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, okay, cool, appreciate you. And he just starts to kind of explain who he is and starts introducing himself, and then how he does, like, he's an acting manager and etc. And at first, it sounds like one of them greeting card things. Like, you know, you at the mall and people be like, have you ever modeled before? And I'm just like, man, get out of here. Like, don't talk to me. Stop it. But it was something about, bro, I don't know, his persistence and just how he was speaking. I was just like, I don't know, but he asked, you know, straight up, like, have you ever acted before? Have you ever did? I'm like, nah. Have you ever considered? I'm like, nope. And he starts to let me know as far as like he's an acting manager. He thinks I'll be good for this one role coming up, and you know, we start getting to talking, and then I talked to my mom about it later. I talked to the rest of my people about it, and everybody's kind of just like, do it. And I'm just like, I don't act. I've not taken a single class. I don't know what the first thing doing that would look like. You feel me? So I'm just like, kind of like, nah, not that I'm like 100% like, no, never, but I'm just kind of like, it doesn't make sense. But then it was, you know, pushing this direction, like for my mom and other people, like okay, just try it this once. If you don't like it, you don't have to continue. You know what I mean? So I wasn't like thrown into that or like, do this, da da da. I had the option, you know what I mean? And it was just like, try it. It made sense. So I don't remember if it was a couple days to maybe a little time later where, okay, meet up with him. I go down to Warner Bros. Studios, and never been there before. I was like, oh, this is cool. It opened up the big gate and everything. It was cool. And I go, I'm seeing all these other lots and sets and stuff, and I've never like. And at this point, I've in music wise, I've been in a lot of cool rooms and a lot of cool situations and this and certain celebrities in this, so I'm not fazed by a lot. But then coming here, I'm like, okay, this is a whole different side of that whole famous person thing, or celebrity thing, because I'm seeing all these other like child actors and this and that I'm like, and then there for the audition, I'm just like, I'm not getting this. I'm not getting, and it's fine because again, I'm not that invested in it in the first place. I'm just trying it for the sake of trying. I'm humoring everybody else. I'm like, okay, let me just do it. I go in and I do my audition, and there was these two ladies in front of me, and again, hoping that, you know, they don't see this line, that I hear me saying this, but that, you know what I mean, they was looking a little mean. I ain't gonna lie, I was a little semi-intimidated, but like, you know, I learned the lines and the role to the best of my ability. I memorized it to the best of my ability, and I went in and I just did the audition. Dope. Afterwards, it was a clean like, okay, thank you, next. And I'm like, cool, you know what I mean, cool. I walk out, my mom's like, how do you think you did? I'm like, I guess all right. I leave. Maybe almost less than a week later, and I've already disassociated from the entire process. Because again, the one and done stuff like this, you don't just get and this and that. And I understood, and I wasn't upset, angry, none of that. My mom gets a call. She starts screaming in the living room, "Oh my God!" And just I can't audible. And then with Nigerian parents, there's always a lot of screaming. It could be for good things, bad things, cool things, sad things. You never know. So I go out and I check. Whoa, what's wrong? What's happening? You got it. Got what? Like I said, I disassociated from it already. I already got it. The second I left, I got it out of my mind that even process even happened. So then now, and she's going like, "Oh, you booked the audition. I was like, the show thing and this is for Shameless. This is the first. I forgot to even mention that's the first job I ever booked. First thing I ever auditioned for, that being Shameless. And she said, "You booked that." I was just like, "Oh shoot, oh cool." You know, and I'm like, okay. They liked it. And this was supposed to be like a 1 or 2 time thing. So they said they might have me for 1 or 2 episodes, and it was the coolest thing. I remember going to set. I remember seeing like, wow, so this is how it is on TV, like breaking the fourth wall where like it sets up, it shows just these 4 walls, then out there is the real world. Like, okay, this isn't a full classroom. It's like half a couple desks, and like just seeing that itself was really cool and getting to see that. My first time actually when we started filming, it was the funniest thing, and my mom did the funniest thing that I laugh about to this day. We start filming, I'm supposed to be like this bully kind of guy, right? So basically the premise of it being, so on Shameless is a character named Liam. A lot of like y'all know Liam, the only black member of the Gallagher family. Yeah. They put me in his school. I'm like supposed to be held back, and he's like literally probably let's say sixth grader. So it's like me, a grown 15, like looking like a grown man at the time, 15-year-old in his 6th grade class, looking, you know what I mean? So he hires me basically to help with his bully problem. This is one girl bothering him that's bigger than him, that's threatening to kill him and all this stuff. So he gets me along to like do his like he does my homework. In response to that, I help him be protected with the bully and stuff. So when we're walking down the hallway, it's this cool little moment where, okay, now we made the deal. Now I'm walking. All the kids are like running when they see me and him, because now he's like running the place now. And there's this one little kid, and they named him. It was a white boy, and they named him Tyrell. That was just a random funny fact. It made everybody laugh. They still people send me the little clips and edits till today. And so when he tries to talk to Liam, I throw him into a locker, but not like actually throw him. They taught me like the little like ways to make it look real and all that. Yeah. As I do this, my mom screams, "Ozie, what are you doing? Like why are you hitting that little boy?" Basically, and they yell, "Cut!" And we're explaining to her that that's not real. That didn't really happen. It was we did. And she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And that was the funniest, with that being the first experience. But my bad. Yeah, made that a whole long-winded answer, but I just wanted y'all to get a little taste of what happened. But yes, it found me. I wasn't shoved into it. I wasn't pushed into it. You know what I mean? It was something that I tried, and I reaped the benefits from trying. You know what I mean? That's why I'm a more open-minded person about things now, because I used to be so set in my ways. No, I never tried. I don't like it. Never did it. But it's like, since then, I'm like, okay, I'll hear you out. If it sounds okay, I'll try something, and then we'll keep it. You know what I mean? And we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Dope, man. I mean, just for explaining that, brother. I got to hear it all.
Yeah, I like to talk.
Yeah.
I like to talk.
You know why that's important too, the way you explain, everything. Yeah. A lot of, child actors, even when they grow into adults, you don't really know their story of how they got into it. People just look at it as, they had mean parents who forced them to get into acting, and that's why they ended up, because you hear about the stories of sometimes them getting on drugs and things like that, not understanding that there could have been other things going on. You don't always have to blame the parents. It's not always the parents. You don't know what they went through. You don't know what they were dealing with, but you just said, nah, it had nothing to do with my parents. They kind of like helped create the opportunity, but they let me do what I wanted to do. Right. And I think that more child, actors like yourself who grow into, adults and act or whatever direction you take should be able to tell their stories, and explain that, and people on the outside shouldn't just judge, because you don't know. They could have had the most amazing parents and just, went down the wrong road. You don't know, so I'm glad you explain that and everything, so now as we get into like your teenage years, 12, 13 and things like that, you were going to Santa Fe middle school in Monrovia, right?
Dang, y'all got all that?
We get it in. We break it down.
Yeah, I went to Santa Fe Middle School.
These are, so you already talked about your passions and everything like that, but, while in school, did you also play sports like basketball, football? Like, what were you into at that time besides music and things like that?
I was trying a lot of things. There was nothing specifically I was like gunning towards, and this was like another big reason I'm so glad I found my niche later in life, being like, acting, music, my creative side, because I felt like everybody at a certain point, and I know this is like, okay, everybody's young now, everybody knows what they want to do, but at a certain point kind of knew a little bit what they wanted to do, or had a specific path, like, this, that, and the third. Yeah. Me, the whole idea of a 9-to-5, and although I respect everybody who does that, that 9-to-5 and that kind of work and stuff, to me, I was like, I couldn't fathom myself like being in that position. I'm like, dang, I'll be doing this the rest of my, just sitting at a desk doing this, that, and the third, and I'm just like, I don't know. I wasn't the greatest student, and I'll just say that straight out. You know what I mean?
Keeping it real.
I was being real. It was a mix of uninterest, but also I'm like, so I got dyslexia, right? And this is a thing not a lot of people knew at the time until I think maybe a couple years ago when I did the show and everything. But it made it real difficult for within studies and my comprehension on things and this. And I was also a person that wouldn't speak up about it too. It's one thing being because my parents and the older sibling being the golden child, you know what I mean, everything he doing everything right, this and like, why can't you do what he can do and this, that, and the third, and you know what I mean, and then it's like I'm trying, I really am, but it's like something's not clicking for me. But at the same time, I didn't like face my problems head on. I would just kind of like not say, if like, let's say the teacher's coming back around and thinking like, oh, anybody doesn't understand, I'm not going to be the person to say anything. I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to look like I don't get it. I don't want to look like, you know what I mean? So, and being told also at this young age, again, you know, Nigerian parents being like the main roles being, oh, doctor, lawyer, this, that, you know what I mean, like actual. So that's even a slight segue being a even more awesome reason like why I'm so happy that they were able to allow me to go this route, this other different route. But anyway, being what it is, it's like I didn't really have any other like ideas of what I would want to do, whether that be sports, whether that be in the scholastic area. Like I didn't have any kind of path or driven or this or that. So, and also being told like, okay, if you don't do well in school or if you're not doing this, then the third year, you know what I mean, you're not going to really be able to make much of yourself. You'll be less than nothing. You won't be doing this or that. And you know what I mean, that's something that's pushed on, like, a lot of everybody, you know what I mean? But that's mainly because they want you to succeed in every route. They don't want you to waste time in something that they don't think is going to, put you at a place in life that they want for you. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not even nothing. I'm like, oh man, I'm mad that they try to make me think. But I will say, thinking with that mindset got me really scared because I'm like, okay, I'm not doing well at school. I mean, I am trying, but it's not going that route. So what's going to happen? Like and to the point where I realistically just disassociated, meaning that at that point in time, I'm like, you know what? I'll burn that bridge when I get to it. I'm going to have fun right now. I'm going to play with my friends. I'm going to go shoot some basketball hoops in the park. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to be excited for the field trips. I'm going to just be a normal, you know what I mean? And then when those little problems came a little bit, because then, there's some classes I'll be doing good in. Or like history. I was great at history. You know what I mean? Like when I'm actually interested, it's a little better, but still, but for the most part, it was very much difficult. But I'm so glad around a little bit later, I did find the music. Music being around that time is when I had already recorded my first single, my first song. Yeah. And I did it with Ray J. First ever foot into the industry and everything. That was big bro, took me under his wing and all that, you know what I mean? So at this time, I am living that kind of cool semi-double life thing where I'm going by nighttime, okay, I'm over here at certain places, or I'm performing with Ray J and doing this and going to clubs, going to this at like 12, 13, around that time. And then I come back to school and it's like, okay, certain people understanding how cool that is, but then other people not 100%, which would be people like making fun, commenting bad things on my YouTube, like taking time out they lunch and whatever recess time to like comment bad, negative, this, that, all that crazy stuff, you know what I mean? But it's like I always had a good head on my shoulders and kept pushing because that's something I love to do, something I always wanted to do. And it's my own song. Like you're gonna take the good and the bad of it, you know what I mean? I always had to. And I also had my parents good keeping a good shoulder on me, making sure I always keep my head up, like, okay, don't even worry about that and stuff like that. But like that's when I found my path. That's when I found my drive. I'm like, okay, this is something. This is something I love. A career. I can make a nice little career path out of it.
Yeah. So actually, I'm glad that you talked about that and broke it down. That was going into one of the questions I was going to ask because, as teenagers, we don't really talk about the things that we struggled with as young kids. Those are the things that we kind of keep silent and we kind of like, just hold inside, and I think it's important to talk about it, especially, with individuals like yourself who try to inspire younger kids, you know what I'm saying? Because you've been there, done that, and you want to give back, right? When it come down to the youth, when it come down to you, would you say that's the thing that you struggle with, as a teenager, being dyslexic, or was there anything, else? What would you say were the things you struggle with as a teenager? Because we all have struggles. Maybe we're not as good as that person on the team and it bothers us, or maybe our home life wasn't the greatest. In my situation, my parents divorced, when I was a teenager. So I battled with that situation. That was hard for me, right? What would you say was something that you battled with, or was that what you battled with as a teenager?
I would say that's what I battled with as a teenager. There's a lot of different things, nothing to that, severe case of it being like, okay, the parents splitting up or this, but everybody goes through their own things. My main things being, okay, on school side, and I would say sometimes also staying out of trouble. I don't know, like I was always, like I said in the beginning, I was always doing something I was supposed to, getting a call from the teacher, I did this, I got in a fight here, I wrote something, I ran over, I'm doing, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I just couldn't sit still. I was always a person that always on the move doing work, but mainly it being, I think my main struggle as a kid, other than, having Nigerian parents, was that with a whole struggle on it within its own. But we ain't gonna talk about it. But main thing being that, you know what I mean? And that's like what everything seemed to revolve around. You know what I mean? School, grades, after that college, after that high school, after that this, after that, you know what I mean? Then the job and this, like, and I was a person, like I said, that did kind of try to just focus on like the good things or like the now and what's happening now. But I recall like at a very young age, being maybe, I don't know if it's maybe out of 4th or 5th grade, kind of just, in a sense, like I said, kind of giving up in a way. Not where I like completely stopped doing it, but like it did worry and bother me a lot. Yeah. And it's not so much so that my parents knew about this, because like I said, I didn't really say a lot. I didn't say a lot. I didn't talk a lot. I didn't get diagnosed. I didn't this, like all this. So all this time is just looking like, okay, I'm just goofing off or doing this. But it's like realistically, I'm trying. Realistically, I'm not comprehending certain things right now. It's making it very difficult for me to, to even like, do you remember like popcorn reading? As a kid, like when the teacher would be like, okay, you read a chapter, then you pick another student.
Yeah.
I pray to God they didn't pick me. I would look, I would beg, and you get some nice kids that would be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll pick somebody else. You get the mean ones to be like, they give you the smile too. It's like it's evil. It's like they give you the Ozie. And I'm like, oh, what? Like that's, like, come on. And I'll be butchering. I'm like, and I start like tripping over certain words, and then, the people got to help you. They're like, whatever the word is, let's say concussion, and then it's like, oh, okay, and then I keep going, I get stuck again, and it's like, you know what I mean? So it was such a thing where I'm like, okay, I'm far behind. I feel like a dummy. I feel very in touch with everybody. When certain questions are answered or asked, everybody handing, I'm over here just like trying not to get noticed. But that's when they pick you the most. Like, Ozie, and it's like, I don't got the answers that you're I don't got the answers that you're looking for. I don't know. But I would say, yeah, that was definitely being my biggest struggle growing up as a kid, into teens and all that stuff, because that's something I still didn't know that I had, being dyslexia and all this stuff. Didn't know that was still what was messing with me as deep as it was. But obviously relieved to know later in life that it wasn't like, okay, me being like not trying or being taking it seriously and being a goofball, but that being that. So that I would say that, I mean, yeah, I gave up pretty early, had a lot of the inner like just breakdown moments of myself. I don't know if I call it depression, because you're too young to like experience, like, I don't know, but like definitely at a deep something just off with me. That I knew, and I was just like, I'm just gonna focus on good times. I'm gonna focus on fun things and this and that. You know what I mean? So I would say that being the biggest year.
Well, I mean, I appreciate you really like breaking that down and going, into talking about it, because like I say, I think more, kids, teenagers should talk about those things, because it'd be easier to get past it knowing that others could relate, and could understand, I mean, to those teachers though who didn't, after class pull you to the side and ask questions, I give them a couple of these, because I mean, how could you over here trying to call out a teenage kid who you don't know what they dealing with and why they kind of don't want to be in front of the class reading or and things like that. So teachers who are in that position should ask questions.
Very much.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
I would say that there were some, that would at least ask like, okay, not like if something's wrong, but just like, okay, do you need help after school? Or do you need to stand in third? And I will take it upon myself to admit that, okay, certain times where I probably should have, but again, that being the fear of being called stupid or me not even wanting to even venture down, because I'm like, it's not going to work. It's not worth it. But then word teachers being like around, man, like I remember I had this one teacher, this is either elementary or kindergarten, one of them times, but like bro would just stay on my head in the worst way, just calling me like dumber than dirt. like, no, getting real nitty and gritty with it, like, and just call me out for either stupid mistakes that I make or this, that, like, when you get even around a certain point, you get even nervous of making even the littlest mistake because someone's gonna call it out. That being the teacher being your biggest heckler is insane, man. And that's like for real, you know what I mean? And then he'll make like not like stupid little rhymes with my name, like nosy Ozie, and then making other kids laugh and stuff.
And this was a teacher.
This is the teacher.
Man.
It's the teacher. That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Mind blown, for real. You know what I mean? And there's other ones that I feel like had it. I feel like I kept having a target on my back with certain teachers. Not every single one. I'm not gonna say but like. There was some, you know what I mean? Because I don't know if it's because you also assuming I'm just another dummy, or I'm not trying, I'm being a jerk. I don't know what possessed you to just get comfortable enough or just like annoyed enough to the point where you gonna talk to a kid like that, man.
Crazy.
And this is me already thinking that, and you just confirming what I'm thinking. And you an adult, so I'm looking at you like, oh, he knows what's up.
That's
He's
crazy.
saying that, and that's facts.
Wow, wow. You know what? Yeah, that teacher is on something else, man. But shout out to the good teachers, though.
Shout out to good
because we got some good ones out there.
Y'all try.
You know what I'm saying?
Y'all try.
Definitely. Getting back to your passion, though, because we ain't just gonna pass through that. You basically said that you recorded a song with Brandy and Ray J.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Talk about that a little bit.
Well, Ray J. And so
Okay, Ray J.
whatever
Okay.
that one was, I didn't actually collab with Brandy, which I've had great, amazing talks with her later in life, and I'll get to that later. But mainly just, yes, Ray J being the first collaboration within the first song I've ever made. I can't to this day tell you how to put, because I just say my mom, man. I don't know. I'm remembering either she was calling in certain favors or researching with certain people. Like, again, she was studying to be a momager for me.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And she, at a certain point, got some connect somehow. And I'll probably ask her about that later today when I see her. Because I haven't really, when I got older, I never really asked too deep, like, how did we, but anyway, maybe a friend of a friend, connection of a connection, worked it out where we got to be in the room with him and his dad. Okay. And at this time, this is so funny. This being the first time I was in the Valley, and it's not in the place where his office was. It's not too far from my current house now, and I'm like, that's kind of crazy. Like, I was here, didn't know I was gonna be here later. I was gonna be, you know what I mean? So I remember we came there, cool dude. We was knocking out, like, signing, like, little paperwork, just getting down to the nitty gritty of things. But also, like, I remember the office being so dope. Had a little cool game room. We was shooting pool. We was doing, you know what I mean? And then at that point, he became like big bro. Took me under his wing for real. You know what I mean? Nice. And then I remember my 13th birthday, we shot the video. Okay. The music video. And that was like my first ever, like, this is so cool. Everybody here for me, and like, it was like production wise, he helped out with that. And then I was like mini him. We would dress the same fits. I got my first sense of style from him at this certain point in time. And it's so funny. I look back and I'm like, I literally just look like a mini clone. But that was an amazing experience, being my first thing. And again, like I said, being in middle school, and hecklers, the haters, this, that, and the third. It was kind of rubbing against my good times a little bit, but then I'm just focusing on the good. Like I said, that's one thing about me. I always focus on the positive of things and like what's happening. So I'm lucky enough to be able to perform with him. Took me certain places, put me around certain people, be in the rooms with other celebrities and stuff like that. Such cool things. And very funny thing. And this is like my first taste of like that, like celebrity drama or gossip that goes in the tabloids and things. So there was a time. And I'm sure you know about the Kim and Ray J thing,
Of course.
And as everybody did. And it was just a funny thing at the time.
No, I'm just playing. No.
It was a funny thing at the time.
We're going to edit that part.
We're going to edit it. Okay. It was a very funny thing at the time, because I remember somebody deduced that the day I was conceived, being real close to that point in time when that, that situation was happening. And it was funny. It didn't take too long for people to be like, oh, shoot, does that mean he's probably his son and his mom probably kept? And this is my first time having any kind of celebrity drama, stuff like that. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I'm not sure on what to do and stuff like that. And I remember it touched TMZ at one point. And when I'm with him, I'm getting reporters, we're getting all this other stuff. And then I remember being told, just like, don't address it. Don't say yes, don't say no, just leave it be. And I'm like, he knows what he's doing, because like that's just creating more buzz around me. That's bringing more people in until there's a point it died out. Then it was like realizing like, okay, that wasn't the situation and everything. But it's just, I experienced a lot of just funny and cool, crazy things within the industry. And man, like on the back rooms of these clubs, in the back rooms of certain parties, or this or that, like just 12, 13 and doing this stuff. But it was, like I said, it was a big jump into my career. It was, I'm glad I got to experience all that I have.
You know we can't just breeze past that. So at one point in time, TMZ and other
other little
sites,
yeah.
they thought that Kim and Ray J were your parents.
Right.
Wow.
Very crazy.
You milked that? Did you milk that?
Huh?
Did y'all milk that?
I didn't know how to milk it. Like I said, I was just doing what I was told. Like, okay, because I didn't understand the game. You know, me understanding it now, like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, do it this way. But I didn't. I'm just like, okay.
Did Ray milk it?
I'm like, okay. Didn't speak too much of it. Just let it. It's just one of the, because it wasn't. I don't think it's one of the biggest things that is being said around that time. But it was like kind of like a secondary or smaller part. So it's just like, okay, that's another thing that's circulating us right now. So like, okay, just
let them talk.
Let them talk.
That's crazy, man.
Shout out to Ray though.
Yeah, shout out to Ray, man.
Bro, for real.
After you did that song though, because come on, Ray J, especially at that time,
Yeah.
Did you feel like, okay, this is my time, like this is what I'm supposed to be doing? I'm that young guy. I just collab with Ray J. Everybody can hear it. We doing a video, like,
right.
I'm him right now. Did you feel that at that time?
Funny enough, nah, I don't think I was aware of my own, like, what was really happening at this point. And I think that's partially to do with, because like, I knew Ray J, and because like I know a lot of like, of the celebrities at that time and stuff, but like maybe because it wasn't somebody like in my demographic at the time being like, Justin Bieber, this person. So maybe I don't think I just viewed it as crazy as it was, or as big as it was at the time. I don't think like I appreciate it. Like it was cool. I was like loving every moment of it, but it was like, I thought it was like dope that I'm be able to make my first song. And okay, being with Ray J, and I know who Ray J is, I know the situation, everything. Like, okay, that's cool. I'm in these certain rooms. It's tough, but I don't think I really view myself as that guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. I thought like it was very awesome. I'm glad I'm here, but it's like I'm always the person like, okay, like what's next? Like I'm trying to get to the next, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get there still. Exactly. But sometimes, even to today, you know what I mean? When I don't realize like, okay, I've already done this, but then I'm still on like, I gotta get, but then people gotta remind me like, hey, you realize you did this, you did this, you did this, you did this, you did this. And I'm like, now that you right, you know what I mean? But it's like, I'm never that person that's just like two in the, I'm on top. I'm this standing third, you know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah.
Wow, man. Hey, no matter what, congrats though, man. Thank you. Being so young and in the collab, with talent like that. So man, congrats to that.
Thank you.
Around this time too, I also read something where you were one of the youngest to have a Grammy party approved, by the Grammys. Talk about that, because a lot of people may not understand what that means.
Oh yeah. And even again, like I said, a lot of these things when I was younger, it's not stuff that I like how big of a deal these things were. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking like, okay, I know I'm just doing all this to get somewhere, to get recognized, to get like noticed as this person or this. But it's like I didn't realize how awesome that was at the time. But yeah, I got approved, and it was with the release of I'm pretty sure my EP at the time. Was it Young Beginnings? Was it new? Man, that's a blast from the past. Y'all, you got me talking about to my version of the back in the day. But like, no, that was an amazing thing. I got like a bunch of not only my other industry friends that I'm making at this point, other celebrities came down. They had I performed, had other performances there. It was something very cool. It was very amazing. It was again, I'm realizing later that like, wow. That's a big deal, Grammy approved. Like Grammy, we was in talks with their people. They approved me to have a party on their behalf, official, big official. That's tough. That's awesome. You know what I mean? But like that was a really great thing, and that was just again for me. It was just like another Saturday. It's like, okay, I come in there, I do, I host a little bit, I perform, I do this, I put on a show, blah blah blah, da da da, and then okay, cool, next day. So that's how I kind of just view things. And that same thing goes for performances when I go perform places, or even who I'm performing with, or who's on the ballot, or this, that, and the third. Like, it's just, I'm just going, I'm doing my thing, and then I leave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Dope. Now, around this time, were you in Calabasas now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Around that time, I was in Calabasas now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you also getting homeschooled, or did you go to high school out there?
Still, I was in high school at this point.
Okay.
I had not yet ventured into acting. I believe. I didn't go into acting yet.
Okay.
I think was that 2018, maybe 2017, maybe end of 2017 or just 2018 is when I started acting. That's a little bit later. So at this point, I'm still doing music. I'm still in school. So I had enough of like, because again, I moved there. I moved to Calabasas like freshman year, high school.
Okay.
Freshman year. So this is like new. Then that's a big another part where I don't want to leave. My people here, my girl, everything here.
Yeah.
But that being like, no, yeah. I'm ended up being like super glad because obviously the position I'm able to be in, that I was able, in the rooms I was able to touch, and the success I was able to reach. So at this point, I am in real school.
Yeah. Wow. Now, how difficult was it for you, if it was difficult, as a teenager, to like try to be normal, around everyday, kids that, your neighbors and your schoolmates and everything like that, when you are, doing songs with celebrities, hanging out with celebrities and things like that, things that all the other kids around you probably can only dream of, right? Like how difficult was it to like be in that world, but also trying to be in the world of being a normal kid?
So the funny thing is, I will say before I moved, when I was still in Monrovia and I was still like, over there, that being a different thing within itself, because certain people were like, okay, thinking that was so tough, and it being, in balancing that, it was a little difficult because some days I would probably come late, or maybe I would go to school today, or maybe I would taken out of school early, and they did kind of try to offer my parents like, okay, maybe he should go to a kind of like one of them schools that would be beneficial to people that do what he do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of them special schools, but it's like, nah, I wanted to stay. I'm okay. I'm here. But it was. It's like, it's funny. It was not 100% difficult because you had so much people to humble you over there, man. Like, it was so funny. Like, no matter what rooms I was in, how much I performed here, I did this, you get humbled. They were like people that don't care. Like, they don't give a damn, man. Like, that you doing this or doing that or whatever. But there were certain people like, okay, that's cool. Like, congrats, this and that. But it was like, I never was feeling like I was on top. So moving to Calabasas and I went to Calabasas High School. Every other celebrity's child went there. Every other person that did music or did this there. I wasn't. So again, going into this, now I'm like thinking, oh, different chain, switch up. Yeah. Not really hot shit. Everybody's doing what I'm doing now, because back over there in Monrovia, nobody was doing what I was doing. No one was on the same, going to this late night, understanding missing school. But like here, everybody was on the same thing. Yeah. So it's like it was cool because it's like, okay, finally, because I was around adults a good amount of my career when I started out, when I was a kid. Yeah. Adult, all these parties and this and that or performances, adult. And it's like, and I had like media training, so I'm like, I'm aware, like I know how to talk to everybody, I know how to do this, and so it was different coming like, okay, people, my peers and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So it wasn't really a thing of like trying to like be around normal people, because not everybody around that school was normal. Yeah. Everybody's connected to something, and nobody's 100% oppressed. Yeah. Exactly. Unless, you get some notable things, because there was times where some singles I was doing around high school time, that was hitting the radio, like on Kiss FM, on iHeart and this and that. People saying like, yo, I heard your song on the radio. Like, that was a pretty cool thing, you know what I mean? When it's like certain things that it's like, okay, it reaches a level where it's worth, nah, that's tough. That's cool. Or somebody giving you your accolades or something like that. It's like, okay. And then, or either that, or the time I went on Ellen, or the time I started getting into acting for real, you know what I mean? Then it started becoming a little more like, okay, he one of us. He doing what we doing, you know what I mean? It's like he's over here. He cool. He doing what he's doing and stuff like that. But as far as like balancing that side of my life within the school thing and that became a little more difficult, which is why I did have to transition to online school, because when acting became a part of it, especially, I got even more busy than I ever was. And I was either here on set, or I was here, I couldn't make it because this, or I was lagging a little more in school because this, or this performance, or this, it was a lot. So around that time, like, I got to go to like a year and change of high school. Okay. And then the following next semester is when I dipped, and then I had to switch on to online school. Because I was starting to catch fire. I was starting to work a lot. You know what I mean? Which was a really cool thing and really good. And I was like, at first in my head, I'm like, yeah, this would be such a tough thing. Like, finally, I don't have to walk in here. But then didn't realize, like, okay, I'll be missing some of my friends and this and that, which I still visited the school. And I'll be pretending like I'm still a student. I have my ID still, and I'll be coming like my school ID. I'm like, oh, yeah, hey, guys. Back when I was still in high school. That school ID is long gone, first of all. Just want to make that clear. Just when I was still a teenager, I would visit my old school, pretending like I'll bring a backpack and, and certain teachers, knowing that I'm not there, they would still let me sit in their classrooms and just be like, and just chill with the class. But then other times, like, they would be doing sweeps and checking who's not in class, and then that's when I had to go. But other than that, like, I had other friends too that was like, online or doing what I was doing, and so it wasn't a difficult transition all that much.
Yeah. So around this time, ninth grade, 15, 16, that's when acting started to become more serious for you.
Yes. Because, being 15, 16 is the first thing I ever did, being Shameless.
Yeah.
And I was running with that. And that was the only thing I was doing consistently. And when they liked me so much, because again, I thought it was like a 1 or 2 time thing, because that's what I was told. They liked me and the dynamic with the character being Liam, Christian Isaiah. Shout out, little bro.
Yeah.
He's driving now. Oh my God, that's crazy. I saw him like around Halloween time, and I was like for a mutual friend's birthday thing, and like he got taller. He's like grown. He done grew up on like what? Like I was actually tripping. But shout out, little bro.
Man.
But so. They liked our dynamic. They started writing more storylines to keep me more in the show and this and that. So I was just regularly filming on Shameless. This is around like season 9. This is where I first started off. And that was my main thing. And after that was a little bit, I ventured into modeling a bit. I modeled for Louis Vuitton, school edition freshman. Yeah, it was called something, but Louis Vuitton school apparel and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, so I'm adding more things to my bag, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. I'm glad what I'm doing right now. I've now walked into the room of actor, not just music, and then it was I was trying to keep them very much balanced. Like, okay, as much as I'm doing this, still getting back to the studio, still putting out more songs, still doing more performances, still doing this, and getting to that point, it's really cool, man. It's really cool.
That's dope. That's dope, man. Let's talk about it a little bit. Like, what was it like for you, being a teenager and acting on Shameless? Like, talk about that experience, about that time. Didn't
know the show prior. Hadn't heard of it. And it's not because I'm an avid TV watcher, but I would only watch specific things. Like I was a picky person when it came to watching certain things. Yeah. So when I did book it, and everybody on my friend's side of school or this or that being, oh my God, that's so cool, because they knew what it was. I'm like, cool. You know what I mean? Like I had absolutely no idea what this was to me. It was especially joining around as late as I did around season 9, and they went to 11 seasons, and they've all been doing this for so a lot of the storylines we were filming and stuff I was very confused about, obviously because I have no idea but as far as the acting aspect being that's the first and only thing I've ever acted in, that was the coolest thing though. I was like experiencing all this behind the scenes, what really happens, and learning as much as I could too, because like even the things that a lot of people wouldn't notice, like, okay, there's a thing called continuity, being, okay, let's say if I had these 2 rings on this hand at the start of it, then maybe it's either off or it's gone and stuff. That there's actually a person that his specific job is to make sure everything is same scene by scene. You know what I mean? So let's say if you pan to that person while speaking, pans back to me, and I don't got it, then it's like, okay, that's so these little things that people be usually picking out, like, wait, he was like this for one scene. All these little things. Like I became a whole different person when it came, especially watching TV shows and stuff. I'm watching with a whole new pair of eyes now because I'm here. I work on this stuff now. I know exactly what y'all doing. I know roughly how long it took y'all to get that scene done, how long I'll be filming, that you probably filmed those scenes within the studio and then the outside on a different location and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But that being an amazing thing within itself. And something I can like now say that, okay, I act like I'm on TV. I see myself, I don't actually like I don't like watching myself. I don't watch myself. That's a big thing. I definitely do not do that. It's a mix of, it's like weird. I don't want to like, I know I was there. I don't need to, you know what I mean? But like the only times I would realistically peep myself is like, okay, it was doing like a watch party or a premiere of something that I got to attend and we watching it on the screen. And it's cool watching people react to that. But other than that, I would never just sit down and watch myself or anything that I do. It's a mix of that also because me being a perfectionist, And with music, it's easy. I can go in, change that. But I have no say in what happens. That's Warner, or that's Apple, or that's Netflix that gets the final say on this and the third. So if we do a million takes of a certain scene and you choose a certain take that I specifically, I'm like, at this point I'm looking, I'm like, I did better in a different take. And I'm just going to look at it. I'm going to be like, but it's something only I can see.
Yeah.
Everybody else give me, you did amazing. I'm like, yeah, I guess. And I'm like, but no, that was definitely an amazing part of me thinking, like, what I was feeling, that was the coolest parts, and I'm meeting all these people, and especially later when I actually did watch the show. And this is me, probably I've done like maybe six episodes at this point, or this or that, so I'm like, I should probably start seeing what this is about. And I remember I started binging it from season 1 all the way to our current season, and by the time we were almost finished with season 9, I come back on set looking at everybody with, y'all are different. Like, I'm looking like as a new, I just became a fan while working on the actual show. I'm looking at y'all like, y'all are insane. Y'all been doing this since day one, since y'all were children. The acting, the storylines, all that. I'm giving everybody their flowers. I'm almost looking like a fanboy, but I'm not, like, I'm keeping it chill. But it's just like, then I realized, like, wow, what I just got added to, the legacy I just got put a part of. This entire thing is like bigger than me, because again, I had no idea what it was. And now I understand why all my classmates and friends would be like, yo, that's so cool, that's a big deal. That's like, man.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. That's respect. Your respect went to like level 10.
Level 10.
After you saw
level
that, right?
10,
That's
10.
dope. That's dope. Now, I never want anyone to ever think that it's just, easy to do this. Like, oh, your parents could get you into acting one day and then, take some acting classes and you become famous. No. Talk about the work side of it. Like, did you get into acting classes? Like, how was the work ethic side of it to get to where you got?
Right. So, I don't say any of the parts was like worse or terrible, but I would say difficult at times. I mean, getting to acting class a little after doing Shameless is when a little afterwards I was like, okay, they suggested, like the team I was with suggested, okay, I should probably start doing acting classes. Not because, not specifically because, oh, your acting is terrible or this or that, because the acting set skills that I needed for the show was literally pretty much just being angry black dude, like, you know what I mean, like a mean little bit, like anybody can play, you know what I mean, like that's a simple thing to play. But to do more complex things, if I want to continue this and do other roles, not just bet on being the bully looking dude, you know what I mean, then I'm gonna need to know other things too, but also stuff like within how auditions work, what's slating, you know what I mean, all the stuff, that skills you actually need within acting. So I did start I went to Richard Lawson's acting class, which is it's called Waco.
Okay.
You know what I mean, and Richard Lawson being that's Beyonce's stepdad. And that was a really good school. Like, I was put in a room with other kids, some a little bit younger than me. I think I was the oldest being there, but like that was like the youngest class. We're all grouped together. And they taught us a lot, you know what I mean? They taught me how to improv, taught what we're supposed to do for certain auditions, what's like protocol, and all the stuff I had a lot of fun going there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I went for many months. It was funny enough, like I didn't get to continue because I started booking again. And I didn't have a lot of time to actually go back to class and start working on this and start working on that. And it's like, dang. But I did have like an acting coach, which is also / one of my acting managers, Miss Carnetta Jones. Other manager, Ron Williams. Shout out. They started, so I started just sometimes like working with her whenever I could before roles, like, seeing how she feels about it, how I should. And but going into that, her being the first actual like acting coach I've worked with, it was difficult, especially I would say the emotional scenes or getting to certain dark places, because it's easy to act hard and tough, it's easy to act happy, but it's so difficult to act like real deep sorrow, remorse. And it's like something you have to get uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. My fault. But she would try to get me to places where, okay, like you have to actually put yourself in that person's shoes, act like you actually, so you sit down and like, kind of like get in the fetal position and stuff, try to think of like, the saddest times in your life and all this type of stuff. And it's like, naturally, it's not gonna happen because like easy for a lot of us, because it's like you don't just think about that stuff regularly. You don't want to be in that zone. You're not gonna tell yourself, unlock it and just let it flow out. You know what I mean? We have like a little door way, kind of like locking certain sad stuff in and this, that, and the third, at least like the deeper stuff. And it's like to try to get you to open. I'm sitting down, I'm like, like, what am I doing? Why am I sitting on the floor? Why am I doing this? I'm questioning everything. I'm over here being like, I will say I was starting to be difficult to work with, because it's like I'm over here questioning everything and I'm not 100% doing what I'm told. But it's because like me thinking acting was just going to be what I have been doing, just like, oh yeah, easy, just going off of what I see on TV, going off of this, going off of my instinct and this and that. But it's like I don't have good enough instincts to make those calls yet. You know what I mean? I'm still new. Like, you know, I've been blessed to be able to be in this and do this at the moment, you know what I mean? But it's like I need more. So it wasn't until very much later within working with her, working with the acting classes and this and that, so I'm getting to the point where I'm getting better at it. You know what I mean? I didn't hone it until I feel like realistically maybe a year or two after I started acting.
Yeah.
And I feel like as far as those scenes within those deep connection ties of like real animosity or real sorrow or real deep depression of that, and I feel like it being partly because I experienced more life around that time as well. 2 years prior and like during all that stuff, but also I'm understanding now. I'm getting it more and I'm locking in, but it's not for the faint of heart. And to dive into something else for a moment, like being even the audition process or booking jobs. People have that misconception. Yeah, it's easy. You can just snap your fingers. Oh, get me on a show. Let me hop on. I have no control over that. Those are the casting directors, the director, all this producers. I have no say in that. You know what I mean? Like they think it's not an easy thing. You can just walk on and do this. There's a lot to go on. You have to, if you want to start acting, you probably got to find you an agency or a manager and stuff like that. Get started, get enrolled into classes. You know, start doing headshots, start doing all these other. There's a lot of meticulous things before even doing that. But at that, even doing all that, it's not guaranteed that you're gonna book nothing.
Facts.
There's people that have been doing longer than me, way longer than me. I put it to the grace of God, and that I just had at that moment what these people were looking for when I got taken up so fast and I got to go just straight to the, you know, but that's not everything. That's not everything. You know what I mean? You hear 100 no's before you hear that one yes. Yeah. And that's real. People say that all the time, like it's real.
Facts.
It is real. You don't just wake up one day, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? Even getting to the place that I got to, it's not just, oh, because I've been in something before, that don't mean nothing. There's people that have been in like 10, 17, 18 other projects. And this is like my 1 or 2 that I'm doing at this point.
Yeah.
And it's like a very difficult thing. And it's like you thinking you can put your heart and soul in an audition and as far as like even the auditioning where they'd be like, okay, they need you to either look like this or shave or cut your hair this way or do this, and you got to do it. Depending if like, you know what I mean? Like if you really want to do that or you can just try your best to tell them I'm able to do this if I book it. But even then, you know what I mean, just whatever they're asking for, you just got to conform to that. But you can give your heart and soul in getting into a character, getting in verse with that, learning the scenes in and out, and knowing that character, how he acts, how he walks, how his mannerisms is. And then I'm like I'm a perfectionist, like I mentioned before. So for my auditions, I go all out. If it says, oh, he's supposed to be nerdy with a vest or that, I have like a whole acting closet.
You're going to look like Urkel.
You know what I mean? I'm going to look like Urkel. I'm going to look like this. If I need to look like a biker dude, I put a lot into my auditions.
Yeah.
But then there'll be times you ain't gonna book them. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily because they probably thought you was trash or this or that, but it's just like, you know, they gonna pick who they gonna pick, and you gotta be okay with that because there is gonna be something that is meant for you. Yeah. There is 100% gonna be, you know what I mean? But acting's not for the faint of heart. You have to really love this. You have to be really invested. You have to be able to put time. Like my big thing I always say all the time, and I've been told, like being patience and persistence. So in those times when you're not booking, hone on your craft. You know what I mean? Go back to classes, learn the basics again, learn some new stuff. You know what I mean? Start cleaning up on things until it's your time to come. Then wait, and I didn't think it at first to be something as a fact until realizing later. There's a lot of actors that I've watched growing up that, okay, after they had their little run, they were doing nothing within like 10 years time, just nothing. And then all of a sudden, oh, they're on this big ass Netflix platform, and now they're doing like 7 seasons of this or 10 seasons of that, and it's like, oh, everybody's loving them, and it's like because they waited. Yeah, they love that. Patience and persistence. You know what I mean? They knew their time was coming. They didn't just drop it within. There's so many people that I have tried to put on, and they'd be like, as far as to how like the process goes, like what they need to start to do as far as they get into acting. Oh, within the first couple months, oh no, I haven't booked anything. I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna stop. This isn't for me. Like I'm not like this. I'm wasting my time. I'm like, okay, this isn't for you. Yeah. This isn't for you.
Wow. You know what, man? I got it for breaking that down the way that you just did. I gotta give you applause. You know, And you said a couple of gems, right? But
Right.
it's one thing that you said specifically that really showed me and told me right then and there, oh, he understands greatness. Yeah. He understands what it takes to be great, because you said something that I say a lot. You basically said you got to become comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I say that all the time. And I'm like, when I heard you say that, I'm like, oh, he understands what it takes to be great.
Yep.
He understands, you know? So, man, I just want to applaud you for putting that type of information and game out there, because you even went to breaking it down like, hey, this is what you should do, you know? And a lot of people don't do that, man. And I'm just, I got a lot of respect for you with how young you are, you know, with how you speak. You know, I could tell you was raised the right way. I could tell, you know, you really pay attention, you listen, you learn, you know, and you know, even with the you know, the short film that I'm about to do and everything like that, and you came out in audition, just the way you came up in there prepared. I mean, bro, I didn't even say you had to do a rap. You came up in there with your own rap. I'm like,
perfectionist.
Bro came in ready. And you, I mean, Coy, very experienced, the director / photographer that was sitting next to me, cinematographer and everything like that. Mm-hmm. He just like, okay. Because he, you know, he sit in those type of things all the time. Yeah. So we knew that, okay, he's experienced and he really pay attention to his craft. Yeah. And that's what people who are putting together films love to see when it come down to the actors, man. So a lot of respect, man. A lot of respect for you.
No, I appreciate that, man. Yeah,
definitely.
Yes, sir.
Didn't you receive an Emmy around this time as well for the show?
Well, for Swagger.
Okay, this was for Swagger.
A little bit later. So this was an Emmy nomination consideration.
Okay.
And Apple and the show launched me as one of the candidates they would like to receive this on behalf of the show. And the show was put up for one as well. So me and the show, and then one or two others of the cast. And this was something crazy because the show was going insane at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we hit our season 2. Everybody's begging for a season 3. And it's been on the back, especially within this show, we went through a lot.
Yeah.
It took 3 years to finish up one season. We went through COVID, because going through COVID, one of the first TV series to go through COVID, all the stopping and starting, all the, oh man, somebody get tested, oh, we got to stop, okay, come back. So it was like on and off, 4 months sometimes, then we come back. 6 months sometimes we come back. 3 months sometimes, then we come back. And this, you know what I mean? And we went through a lot. It was a lot journey. We weren't even certain at a certain point if season 1 was even going to be released. And at this point, we weren't able to take any other kind of jobs of like other series, any series at that time, because we in contract. We was in contract with them. It basically was like 8 years, maybe more, and stuff like that, because we projected this to go long term.
Yeah.
So we could only do at this point, like we could do guest star on some films. We do little guest star on some shows and stuff, and then do films, but we could not do other TV series. And at this point, we were in a little hot streak where I was booking a lot during that time, because we were even auditioning from while we were on set, because we were filming in Richmond, Virginia. So even from there, I'm doing my auditions from there. Everybody doing auditions. We were all consistently booking, but we couldn't take like a good amount of it because they're being series. And it's like, oh, when will this? Are you? You're on a TV show right now. Are y'all still going? Yeah. Okay. We can't. Conflict. But that being such an amazing thing that we put in all that time, all my lovely cast and the crew, the producers, the writers, director, all of us that took all this time out of our, like the 3, like well now being like 7 years I've worked with these people. Grown.
Wow.
And to be able to at least get in the eyes of the Academy and everything to, you know, to them to consider nominating us.
Yeah.
And from that point, we had all the fans. We had everybody kind of just like go and do what they can to get the word out that we needed registered voters to, you know, come in here and, you know, keep up the show. We was literally their top 10 for the longest. In their top 10. Like we was fighting with shows like Ted Lasso, rivaling them, going up and first. Sometimes we're ahead of them. Sometimes we're a little behind them going in, but we never left like top 20. Even to now, I'm pretty sure we're still like in the top 20 right now. And the fans showing the relentless love. And it's so funny because we were such a underground show, the way things were set up, because we released so late and became more of a household name a little bit later. Now all these edits, I open up my thing, it's us and the team and some of our other pages and clips of the show, and people like, you know, people on TikTok like to do clips of full episodes and stuff like that. And it's just like, and I'm getting millions and 50 million views on this one, 30 on this one, 100, like, you know what I mean? It was going crazy. So to now be receiving all like the all the hard work, seeing our hard work for us, not only with the Emmy stuff, but also with the fans and stuff. But that was an amazing thing. I was like, wow, me? And then Apple, we had our whole little talk with them, my people, about like, okay, that they wanted me. Like, I started going to other different like parties and events that had other like Emmy voters and stuff like that. Just meet and greet. They did their own thing on the side. We did everything that we possibly could. It was just we didn't end up getting it. We didn't end up getting a nomination, which it, like I said, it happens. To even be considered, to know that they were considering us in the first place is like,
that's amazing.
That's amazing. I'll take it. That was an amazing process.
That's dope, man. And I just want to say, we're gonna get back to Swagger because I got a couple more questions in regards to Swagger, right?
For sure,
but
for sure.
I do want to just put out there, Swagger is, for me, one of the best, sports series that I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? I love Swagger. I was, after watching it on a Friday, I'm like, dang, I gotta wait a whole nother week for the next episode. You know what I'm saying? Yes, cause Swagger, man, it was it, man. I really love that show, man. So we're gonna get back to that, but I want to get back to your music a little bit. Right. Around this time, I believe you was in high school at this time, or it was those years, but you did something with Beyonce on Black is King on Disney Plus. What did you contribute towards that?
This I was in. I didn't have any music involvement with that. It was more so on the acting side that I booked an audition.
Okay,
but that was also a great cool experience that I'll never forget, because at the time they barely, with a lot of these auditions, they try to, especially the bigger the project or person involved, they kind of try to be discreet with it. Yeah. So I was told, and it was a whole different name. I think it was Project Africa at the time, I believe, when we was doing this. And I think somebody let it slip that it was a Beyonce project. It was really cool, man. I was one of the kids, and there was like the scenes with I don't even know how to explain it. It was such a crazy scene. Like, we was in this giant warehouse. It looked like a kind of dystopian war world looking. We were mixed with like African / cowboy / it was different outfits and stuff, but we was there doing like I was like playing one of the first intimidating kids as one of the main little boys walked through, and we all shooting at me, mugging him and this and that. And then there was parts where they had us in like these dance circles and just doing Afro dances and stuff like that. And it was a fun process. She is beautiful. Beyonce is beautiful.
Yeah.
That was my first time in. Wow, not my first time in the room with her, but first time being like this close and be able to say hello and all this stuff. It was an amazing experience. Yeah. All the friends and stuff I made along the way, and it being from like, I remember we got there probably like maybe 2 p.m. We left at like 4 or 5 a.m. We was working relentlessly, man. But the different scenes and stuff, and seeing that project firsthand, you know what I mean? Because this is a mix of, it was like it was a film, but also a music video.
Yeah. Okay.
And I have experience on both. And this was just a real different thing to see all that collectively coming together and seeing the making of them, what they put into this. And this is like, I was also a little happy because like at this point, I've never worked with Disney. I've worked with like, when I started acting, I just jumped straight to like the more like matured stuff, like within Showtime, Netflix, So I'm like, okay, this is like technically my little route into Disney, which was a fun thing, you know what I mean? But no, that wasn't within a music thing, which, hey, hopefully one of these days, hey, you never know what God has in store for us. But it was more of an acting venture, you know what I mean, that I made a nice little appearance in there, which was really fun. It was really cool. She was very nice.
Was a lot of your homies jealous that you got to work with Beyonce?
Yeah, because we had to keep it NDA, hush, wasn't allowed to tell nobody until the day it came out. I posted it like, what? And everybody's going crazy. They're all reposting, they're loving it. They're showing so much love towards it. And I was just, that was cool. That was cool. I enjoyed that.
Dope experience, man. Yeah. So now you moving into a new stage of your life, man. You 18 now, becoming an adult. Was that like a transition for you, or you was just able to smoothly go into, now I'm an adult, 18, 19 years old, or was it difficult for you to now recognize and realize, hey, I'm an adult now, it's real? Right.
As far as everything else I have been doing, it wasn't really that difficult of a transition, but I feel like as far as how I now act, and how I now present myself had to be though as of a matured, adult. You know what I mean? That being like within, as far as like I said, everything I've already been working with adults, and I had the training and this and that of how to compose myself since I was like a young kid, so that was never a problem. But just now that okay, I can't be as goofy or this or acting this way or being around certain people now that I'm like a legal adult. I got to start moving in a more matured, respectable way a little bit. Not that I had to change all like, oh, Mr. Serious, but it's just more so that I couldn't move exactly the same how I used to. But pretty much business as usual. I was doing everything I was already doing. It wasn't that crazy as a shift. I'm still over here performing here, doing this, doing everything I need to do, worrying about school, worrying about this, worrying about, so it was good. It was good. It was fine. It was nothing too difficult. I feel like I don't think I've changed all that much. I will say I'm less bouncing off the walls when I was a kid and stuff like that. But other than that, I feel like myself now is a mix of a little more well-rounded and still those little aspects and quirks and funniness of my personality when I was younger. So it wasn't that crazy as a shift of a shift.
And also, too, voice just got a little deeper, right?
You said,
you had to put more tone to that voice, huh?
See, but I can also still go back to like, if I honestly really needed to talk like a kid and do that thing, that for voice acting, that being for like auditions and stuff, I need to play 15, 16, I shave my face and I got to sound, then I do that. But it's being me. And then, this being, and it's I remember never really hearing the change, because you're not really focused on your voice unless I never had a crazy puberty story where I'm like, oh, I just transitioned nicely, over into just talking how I talk. And I remember it wasn't until people started playing some of my old songs versus now, and it was just like, dang, that boy's voice was like, even from when the Ray J one, when I did with the Hater Free, a song that me and Ray J did when I was a kid, played that one next to Foreign Lake, I'm like, yo, that's kind of crazy. I was a baby.
You sound like Lil Michael.
That was a baby. I sound like
Lil Michael before he transitioned.
And I'm like, man, like that change. That was a kind of like, but other than that, like I wasn't aware of it at the time while I was going through it. You know what I mean? I just kind of just like, okay, 18, okay, shifting over. You know what I mean? But
no.
Yeah.
Now, how was it though? So now we getting back to Swagger. How was it though, being out of high school and now playing a high school kid on Swagger again?
Loved it. And you want to know why I loved it? Because around that time, I took acting as a form to now do and experience the things I didn't get to experience now that I've left high school and left that life of like, okay, just the normalcy of every day going to class on a schedule. And all these other kids here are on the same exact thing as me right now. You know what I mean? They're all doing online. They're all doing this. And all my, like, not these other kids, my brothers and my sisters, like we've worked together and watch each other grow up. I can say brothers and sisters. We are a family. You know what I mean? And that was a different thing, you know what I mean? It's something we had school still, but we had like trailers. We had like a specific trailer, and we had to do something called bank hours, meaning like there's a certain hours amount of the day we had to get school time done. And that's like legally, because we're all children. And so we try our best to knock out as much scenes and work as we can before a certain time, because we weren't allowed to work overtime yet, because again, it would be illegal. And you know what I mean? So, and it's so funny. There was all pretty much plotting for the day we turned 18, marked on the calendar so they can overwork and go overtime and this, that, and the third. And so they didn't have to keep blocking out and stopping this scene. And it was like being the oldest on the set, me and Isaiah Hill playing Jace Carson. That's my homie. And we were the oldest on the set. He's older than me by a month.
Shout out to Isaiah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he's older than me by a month. So then he turned first. So then he was the first person that had to start staying behind late. So after a certain time is when we all usually have to like, okay, we get to go home. And then at first, we was all laughing like, but I'm like a month after. Next month I'm gonna have to be on the same. So now it's just me and him. Everybody started leaving and laughing and pointing like literally like we're just being kids, bro. It's like, you have to stay and work bank hours and this and that. I'm like, okay, but then it's like, hey, and you get paid more when you start working for the overtime. You get paid more. So I'm like, hey, I ain't even tripping. I ain't even tripping.
You know what I'm saying?
But no, yeah, it was still we very much functioned like kids at school. You know what I mean? We didn't. had to put that in there real quick. But we was very much functioning like kids. We didn't. like obviously we all knew we had to be professional to an extent, but we would still play practical jokes on each other's trailers. We would still be one of probably not doing our homework when we're supposed to. So it was it wasn't too different from what the camaraderie would be in actual school, but obviously it being different that we only have to do like a couple hours, not even every day, was it? Or every other day. But just other than that, like we got to, I was loving playing in a high school, because like this is the first time because I didn't get to do prom, I didn't get to do graduation, I didn't get to do senior year, all this other stuff, or playing on JV or varsity teams. So this being my outlet today, being like, okay, I got to go to prom. I was in a fly suit. I was in Pradas. I got a date. I got and all that stuff. It was really cool. I loved every experience of that. Every moment where we got to be walking through when we shoot in classrooms, we get to shoot on the fields, like just tracking all this stuff. I'm like, man, like this is so cool. I get paid to do, all the things I got to miss out on. I just got to be, a regular teenager, or at least on set. I got to act like we got to pretend to be regular teenagers and stuff like that. And I love every second of it. I love all the stuff where I get to play youthful, man. I like it. I absolutely love it. So next ones, I would love to play in college. College, I would love to do that, because I'm online for that as well. I'm also on, you know what I mean? So just to get that also aspect out of it, I would love it.
Dope. And the show is produced by, Kevin Durant, KD. Did you get to like build a relationship with KD or meet KD a lot? Stuff like that?
He didn't get to come like all the time. He wasn't there because he's KD. He busy. You know what I mean? He got a million other projects, game, all this stuff to pay. But when we did, and the first time being, I think was our first month and a half in Virginia when we started shooting season 1. We hopped on a Zoom call, and for a moment when everybody stopped like fanboying, like, oh man, you know what I mean? When it got quiet within the Zoom call, you know what I mean? We got just chances to ask him specific questions, because this not being directly based in his life, but loosely, you know what I mean? But still, you know what I mean? So we asked him all the questions we could about the characters and how we play them, and what would he do in this scenario? You know what I mean? Just seeing how, and it was a great experience. We asked him, like, specifically all of our characters are based loosely off people he knew in real life. You know what I mean? And then Jace Carson being the main, Isaiah Hill playing Jace Carson, being like kind of KD's remnant. He's basically playing KD. You know what I mean? And so within the relationships, how to play the partnerships or the interactions and stuff like that, or all the in-depth questions. And this is just even giving y'all insight on like how serious we take our roles. No matter actors, as a kid, as an adult, this and that, we all professional. You know what I mean? So yes, when all the he and ha and got put to the side, we was getting down to business of asking we all want to see how we can make our performances in the show better. Asking them questions and stuff, and then seeing them from time to time, like when we had our season 1 premiere, when we dropped and stuff like that. And then seeing bro in person, tall, like you know this because it's KD, but it's like, KD? Bro is really up there, KD? Man. He really up there, like dapping bro up. You know what I mean? Like he's such a cool dude, man. Like he very much took pride in the show and us, and helping us in any way we could to make our performances better, and you know what I mean, and complimenting the drip on set and all that. But it was a great experience meeting him, and being to work on a project that he produced. That's
dope.
Cool. Yeah.
And you played the character of Royale. Yeah. So when it come down to the transition of you becoming Royale, was that a difficult transition for you, or was it pretty smooth?
I would say I was excited, number one, more than anything, because at a certain point when I started and Shameless being my first thing, I was typecasted a little bit. Playing the stuck up with the bully role, the mean, intimidating dude, and this and that. So when I got this role, being Royale, where he's a little more complex, he has more depth to him. He's not no bully. He's the opposite. He's not even like the popular this and that. He's kind of like the outsider, kind of wanting to be in with the group a lot. So like, how everybody has that one friend that's probably like, he's in the group, but he's not in the group. Yeah. That was me. And I'm like, I love being able to play things so different from myself and previous characters I've played beforehand, because I love acting so much. I love every aspect of acting. I want to experience playing all walks of life. To an extent. I obviously have my little restrictions. But for these ones being like, okay, he was a little more a sensitive guy, a little more shy. He also had dyslexia. So there's similarities where it was easier to kind of get into that role, you know what I mean? Being that, And then 2 being, lost my train of thought. 2 being, as far as when people are, I've been in that situation before in certain friend groups when I was younger growing up where, okay, you just want to fit in, you just want to this, but it's like something you're doing is like you kind of just, you want to be in there so bad and they're ragging on you, they're doing this, they're da-da, but later proving your worth to them and the team. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because Royale being his dyslexia, and dyslexia doesn't just, there's different forms, but specifically within Royale and myself, it was with as far as like, yeah, the cognitive function and your comprehension of certain things and words, but also hand-eye coordination. It messed with that. So within that, they had Royale messing up layups and dribbling on the wrong side of the court, almost about to shoot on the wrong basket. You know what I mean? So it's like to everybody else, it's looking, what's wrong? You're stupid, bro. Like, you're so dumb, blah, 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 blah. But he has dyslexia. And I'm like, hold on. Who did that sound like? Who does that sound like? You think I'm not trying. You think I'm just a dummy. You think this, that, and the third. But nah, it wasn't me. It was, you know what I mean? But it's like later, him being able to, you know, prove to him like how well he knows the game, because he's not only just, he's a defense boss, or yeah, first and foremost, he'll lock you down, you know what I mean? Yeah. And but not only that, his knowledge of the game is unmatched to anybody else on the team. Yeah. So when it gets to the point of within the show where he's had enough of everybody ragging on him and this or that, he goes off. He's like, he been pushed to the absolute edge, to the final, like, last straw where he had to and he started going out letting everybody know, you want to know why number 5 on the ball is killing us? You want to know that? And he breaks down exactly what you do, to foot placement, to even the direction you're going, how you dribbling the ball, how you doing this, and why, because he sees the whole game. He understands the game. Yeah. And everybody just stunned, shocked, like, whoa. You know what I mean? And it's like that being a similar thing within my real life, being like, okay, getting to the point where overcoming, you know, that the dyslexia, not that it was more difficult when I was younger, but when I started doing online school, met with a tutor that knew how to teach somebody with dyslexia, and, you know, creating mnemonic devices and stuff to help out later with, now I'm doing well. Yeah. I'm doing well. So that being like, okay, I'm not just a goofy dribbling fool, you know what I mean? I know this, that, and third. It was just this that was hindering me. But, you know, I'm over that now, you know? So getting to the point where everybody's now accepting, bro. Everybody's like, okay, bro, yeah, okay. And he's cool, especially going into season 2. They didn't make me so much. My character shifted a little more confidence on him, you know what I mean? He's like, he wants to be
a little more swagger.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. A little more swagger, you know what I mean? And the shift, and also the shift being with after that game where I hit the game winning shot of season 1. And then that also changed. Everybody's like, okay, yeah, you know, he valid, he know the game. He talked this shit to us and then made it, you know, he can back it up, and you know what I mean? So that was very much a cool thing. So I love playing that character. I love being able to slip into somebody that was different from not only the other characters I played, but different from myself, but still similarities in certain ways, which is why I was able to portray the character to I think so well.
Yeah. Man, dope. Yeah, and what was it like working with your coach on the show, O'Shea? What was that like working with him, man?
Man, O'Shea is the funniest person in the world, man. Like, oh my God, bro. It was first time meeting, bro, and it's so funny because like I said, with all the stuff the show has been through, we've had different people playing different parts in the beginning and then, you know, working out. But the current cast we have now is what God intended, and I'm so glad we got O'Shea playing the coach, man. he don't waste 1 second to rag on you, get on your ass, make fun, make jokes, or just crack everybody up on set, man. Before, like, and he would do this thing, the most annoying thing, 5 seconds before we about to hit action, we about to lock in for the most serious scene, he will say the most ridiculous things, bro. And then it's action, then you just gotta you just gotta lock in. You have no other choice but to lock in and try. But then but he is very much on and off the set. Somewhat, I feel like the glue, you know what I mean? Like with everybody and stuff, you could always go to him with regarding advice within the acting industry and everything. Because at this point, this is like I'm in year 1, year 2 of acting of all together. So, you know, you can always ask him deep questions about certain things and he'll give it to you straight. You know what I mean? He's an easy person to talk to, advice-wise about anything. You know, that's what I always love. He open door or open trailer policy. You know what I mean? You can always come in there and talk to him about whatever. He's big bro. He's the friend, you know, and the person that, you know, can show you a little guidance when needed. You know what I mean? So shout out O'Shea. Shout out my brother. You know, just on the Jennifer Hudson show. That was, and they made up the little thing for him too. I put it up on the story. Like that's big bro for real. And definitely, you can always count on him. You can always count on O'Shea because there is a time around the show, around season 2. I felt like I was losing people back to back, and I have never really experienced losing people that I was actually close with. You know, it can be distant people, friend of a friend of a friend, this, that, and the third. But around that time, it was very difficult. And I feel like around that time, and like I told you, or I mentioned earlier, that it wasn't until 2 years, a little bit after I started acting, where I felt like I was able to now tap in emotionally and tap in here and tap in here. Because a small part being I hadn't experienced a lot of emotional depth or real world stuff until then. You know what I mean? So I remember I get a text message because I'm texting with a friend of this specific friend that passed away. I didn't know she passed away. Apparently she passed away even like a week prior to me receiving this message. And I hadn't talked to that person in a long time. I went to high school with this person. You know what I mean? She was a good friend. But I remember we didn't leave things the greatest when we just stopped talking, stopped kind of being cool with each other. And it's like I'm reading the text message and we're about to get off the van. We're doing a late night shoot. We're supposed to be getting hyped for this because we about to go for a game. We're about to do a locker room scene where like we getting hyped for the game. Like, yeah, let's do it. So I'm like the last person to get off the van to the location we're about to film on. And I'm reading this and I just kind of slow down. Everything gets real slow. And I'm not hearing nothing. I'm not hearing nobody saying my name or because I'm literally, I think they're telling me like, oh, we got to get off. We got to get like, we're here. Like, hey, we got to. And after reading it, I kind of get like real low and I drop my phone. I'm just like, it's like a loss of breath because I was like, damn, I haven't experienced close loss before. That's kind of crazy. And prior to that, like maybe maybe a year prior or maybe a little bit later, before even hearing this, like I lost the first person that was close to me in my life, you know what I mean? My first close loss. And she was like a sister to us, you know what I mean? It was one of the first couple friends my brother and I made when we moved over here to Calabasas. Yeah. You know, God rest her soul. But yeah, so hitting this, it's like, ooh, it hit me real deep. And then I think they had a bunch of people, like I remember very little about this moment. I'm just going off of assumptions because I was very much not coherent. I was not there. And they're kind of like taking me, they give me a moment and then they're walking me onto set. A lot of people seeing I'm visibly tears flowing and all this stuff. And I was like, I'm not a very deeply emotional person where, you can never see me crying. I'm always just mainly like, you always see with a smile on my face. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it takes a lot to make me, so this being like, everybody's like wondering what's wrong, what's this? I'm walking past crew, I'm walking past this person, these people. And I take a moment, I go to my cast chair and I'm in holding, and that's like our green room, and I'm waiting and I'm just kind of like absolutely breaking down. And then, you know, my brothers, you know, on the team, guys on the team, you know, putting their hands on me like, hey, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. When Shay arrives on set, he takes me aside. We go into one of the other rooms. He kind of talked to me real quick. He's just kind of breaking down, you know, love and loss and this, and he's been there, and he's just kind of taking me into his arms, and I'm just crying and snotting all over his shirt and this, that, and the third, and then, you know what I mean, he's holding me, he's consoling me, and then, you know, I'm blanking exactly what he said at the time, but it's making me feel a little better. Yeah. Enough at least to continue with the scene. So me having to now lock in a little bit later, we're about to shoot in like maybe 15 minutes. And lock in and act like we on top of the world because we just won this game, or we're about to go win this game. I forgot what kind of scene it was, but get in there, everybody like, yeah, let's go, this and that. When I'm absolutely just toast inside right now. You know what I mean? But all that to say, you know, O'Shea is a real one. He's a real one. Everybody on set is a real one.
Man, shout out to O'Shea, man. Definitely, man. And shout out to that show, man, Swagger. Like I said, it was a great show and everything like that, man. It's a blessing you had somebody like O'Shea with you, you know, to vent to and things like that, man. You know, yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, great show. You know, before we move off of Swagger, I just want to ask this, man. Who on the show is really nice though? Who is really nice? Because you know it's acting, you know that, but who is really nice?
Nothing on that show is faked. What you see on that show is what real life is. Okay. So we literally got a combination of real life ballers and then actors. So it was a nice trade-off of like, okay, teaching the ballers how to act, teaching the actors how to ball. So who really nice like that? Obviously, we're going to say my boy Jason Rivera, which I'm actually going to his game tonight at Pepperdine.
Man, shout out
to my boy Jason. You know what I mean? You better go crazy for me, my boy. And then obviously Isaiah Hill. You know what I mean? They really like this. Like he had, like, as well as Jason, he had zero acting experience before this. It was literally one of them things where they put out a wide audition. He literally got the audition off of Instagram. It was like a wide audition. It was, I mean, everybody's in different places. Like one of the characters from Louisiana, one from Atlanta, one from Baltimore, one from Jersey, one from LA, one from Texas, so we all spread out. It was like worldwide auditioning and stuff like that. So it's that's so crazy. It's meant to be. What's meant to be is meant to be. You know what I mean? But who really nice like that? Definitely Jason, Isaiah. I'll even say Khalil Harris, who played Musa Raheem. That's my brother.
Okay.
My other brother.
Point guard.
Yes, sir. And he wasn't a baller before that. You know what I mean? They got him crazy with the handles. They got him crazy with the shoot. Like, and we owe it to our basketball coordinator, Reggie Wallace. You know, they got everybody right in ship shape for the actual scenes to be going crazy.
Yeah.
But I would say top two lethal for sure. Jason and Isaiah. Jason, Isaiah, for sure.
Okay, nice. That's what's up. That's keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100.
I like that. Yeah. Nice, man. You know, again, for people who haven't seen Swagger, go see it. It's dope. Right. You know, definitely.
Don't get me wrong. Everybody on this set can ball. I'm just talking about, we being real, top of the top. That's the only two I mentioned. But everybody gets you. Phil Marks being Solomon Rama, James Bingham being Drew. Crazy. Everybody got crazy handles, crazy work on the set. Just gotta say that real quick. But they see this and they be like, "What? You ain't mention me, man?" Like, nah. Like I got.
You just saying they may be league one day. That's what you talking about. That's all you saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I got it. We got it. Now, transitioning, going back into the music a little bit. You just put out a song, Foreign Lady.
Yeah.
Dope. I like it. Like it a lot, man. Talk about that a little bit, man, because that's kind of like your focus right now, music, right? You know, because you know you multi-talented. You know what I'm saying? You multi-talented. You know what I'm saying?
I'ma just agree.
But you just put this joint out, man. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I was really excited about this one because it's been a minute since I did music before that. Because I've been just focusing mainly on acting and school and other ventures and stuff that I've been working on. So I was real like, okay, invested in starting back up the music thing because it was getting dry on one side because that was my favorite thing in the whole world at the time. Then acting came along and it was rivaling it. Yeah. And there was times where I always had to pick, which one is more important? But it was like, I'll just segue to one quick time where I had to choose between going to my first premiere for Swagger or going to Rolling Loud. And I would have been on part of like the up and coming artist fact and I would have got to perform and stuff like that. Yeah. I had to choose. And I ended up choosing the premiere. So it comes with this little back and forth. But that's why it makes it so special that I'm so happy that I finally jumped back into it being with Foreign Lady. And I needed it to show people like where I was at now lyrically and music wise and stuff because all my stuff where people would go to my page or YouTube and all this stuff was stuff from like years back because it's been a minute. Gotcha. And it's like, although those were good for its time and I loved the music I put out at the time, but it was like, it's not who represented me now. Yeah. So I went to the studio and I met with this one producer, Coyote. Shout out Coyote, the producer. Coyote. I think met from a family friend or a friend of a friend. Anyway, I jumped to the studio. I let him know what I'm trying to do. You know, he plays me a range of different beats and there's like 4 or 5 that stand out to me. And Foreign Lady it's so funny. The original beat that I needed for that one, I'm the one that brought it to him. And it was there was this TikToker that made this beat. And the beat was so crazy. I wanted to come back the first time on some chill, vibey stuff. You know what I mean? Just to kind of just talk to people. Not just, because I usually do more upbeat pop, this and that, even some, vibey stuff with the Lord Christian stuff, this and that. But I needed something just very... I'm gonna talk to y'all just lyrically, so you can really hear me for real. So I'm talking all nice, soft spoken on the track, as you can see. I'm vibing, I'm singing more and this and that, which I didn't used to do on a lot of my tracks before because I used to be self-conscious on my singing. I was mainly rapper. And that's mainly because the people that I was, like I said, after I moved here, I was around everybody who's, their dad really did this for their mom, or they're really singers for real. So then I got humbled a bit, when I tried at this one birthday celebration, and niggas started laughing. So I just left that alone. But later, Shirley, I went a little practicing a little bit, and singing to myself, and I feel like I got decent enough where I can sing now to be on my own tracks. But anyway, it was originally supposed to be something completely different. Still on the chill vibe, but ended up the guy telling me, as far as the TikToker dude with the beat, telling me like, I already sold it to this person, but I got you with another one. I'm like, I already began writing. I already started writing. I already started the process. What am I? So me and Kyle start redoing the beat, breaking it down, taking aspects of my favorite parts of that, and a little bit, funny enough, Pretty Little Fears by J. Cole and Black.
Okay, yeah.
So little aspects of that, and if you really play it side by side, and if you really about that music, you be able to hear some of the similarities and stuff, because I wanted to take the essence of the vibe from that, of the other original beat, my own vibe, Kyle's vibe, and then put that together. Then we was able to make the new sound for what Foreign Lady was gonna sound like. Dope. And I started going crazy with that one. And it's funny, my process is pretty much, when I do have the beat, I go for looking for the melody and the vibe first before I start actually doing lyrics. So I didn't know what the song was about yet. Okay. I didn't know what I wanted to, I just, whatever came out at the time is what I'm going to use. So I start humming, then I start doing gibberish, just because, again, I just need the vibe first. So running the sun, until it got to the point where I was like, okay, something like Foreign Lady Spotted. That was the first thing I think that came out. So then I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna talk about, chill vibes with your lady, this and that, maybe sipping some nice little drink on the beach, like, okay, and I land on Casamigos and da. And it's just a little more grown, a little more seasoned version of me. You feel me? Because let them know what I'm like, let them know who I am now, what my vibe is, and it became something more later. When I created the cover art, being enough, you see the cover art, it's like different kinds of foreign ladies, different kinds of hair textures, different kinds of pigment on the skin, like a mole here, this kind of lips, this kind of shit, you know what I mean? So it's like just showing the different vibes. Beauty has many shapes and forms for foreign ladies, you know what I mean? And that's really, it was a simple concept, very chill art. I slid on that beat, I say so myself, and video process later for that. Although long and difficult, but we got it popping. I'm really happy about it. I'm excited. Y'all go get Foreign Lady by ZMNY on all platforms, man. And I got more to come too. Shout
out to that joint, man. Like I said, I like the joint. It hits definitely. One thing I want to ask you, because you've been doing your thing in music for a while, right? A while. And nowadays, you see people come out of nowhere, and blow up off of one song, who may not have as much, talent as you. For instance, like you got Jello Ball, who just put out Tweaker. And that's viral now. You know what I'm saying? And he just got a $13 million deal, with Def Jam. When you see things like that, like, do you feel some type of way, or what are your feelings as a person who been doing this for the longest and also got real talent? Like, you really got bars, you could say all of that, right? How do you feel when you see situations like that?
First off, I got love for anybody trying their hand at the music thing. It's not an easy thing. You know what I mean? If I were to say, don't try this, I'm not gonna ever discourage anybody from doing nothing ever. When stuff like that happens, and it happens not only within that world, but also in acting world, same thing where they give certain roles and stuff, they just throw it to TikTokers or this or that. It's like, you ain't gonna ever see me upset or cry about my face, because at the end of the day, I know what's for me is for me. I will be happy with the person. If they doing whatever they doing, and at the end of the day, within the labels and industry, they gotta see what's gonna make him the most money. Right now, he's hot. Now he's, you know what I mean? It's the league, like, you know what I mean? It's you know what I mean? It's what it is. And it's a little vibe, you know what I mean? It's a little bop. You feel me? It's cool. It's a vibe. And I know him just starting out and this and that.
Yeah.
So I don't try to pay attention to too much of that, and he's feeling some kind of way about it, any kind of bad way about it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's catching vibe. shoot, even if like all you got to do is try to see what you can do to use it to your advantage in these situations. You know what I mean? Like, okay, if I'm now around bro and stuff like that, I'll hype up the song. We get to talking. I might need to do a collab, because you got to do whatever you can do to get yourself in front.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to do whatever you can do to get yourself out there, and that means conforming to, because like the industry has changed a lot. I mean, acting, music, all this stuff. So it's like it's not becoming more about how like the more, you know, in-depth artists that take their craft seriously and didn't just start yesterday. Again, not discouraging anybody who's just now starting this stuff, but it's becoming too much of a breeze by. Depending if you have a kind of catchiness, either if that be a goofy thing or this, or whether that be, because like take Sexy Red, you know what I mean? And it's like she cool peoples, but you know, it's like different where you know, she's making her not being able to sing and this and that into something viral enough to where, okay, yeah, we want this person, we want to plaster them up here, we want to do this, because they just focus right now. She's focused on what goes viral, less on substance, less on the lyric, you know what I mean? Because like there's a lot more artists either that are underground or here are starting up, or that are actually like going absolutely crazy lyrically and spiritually, but it's like they ain't seeing through because they don't got that little viral thing right now that either is good viral where it's like, okay, it's a catchy tune, or it's like the bad viral which they're gonna paint it good, you know what I mean, where it's like, okay, it's good, well, because it went viral, you know what I mean? But anyway, shout out to all the people trying to handle the music thing. If they happen to get a little cool push, you know what I mean, good for you. I've been doing this since I was like 12. I've been lucky enough to be in certain times of viralness whenever I did stuff with the Rage era, when I did my Afro stuff, when I collabed with like artists like Olamide and then Ricardo Banks and all these people with Young John, Phil's producer, everybody, you know, with me and stuff like that. And then I didn't even realize it at the time, because I did whole tours in Nigeria, and here I was on TV, I was on this, there was streams going crazy, views going crazy, this, that, and the third, you know what I mean? And that's due to my own hard work and snap. But at the same time, I can't be looking these things in the mouth, because as far as how I got into acting, you know what I mean? I walked in, I had zero experience. I had no background in the classes or this or that or this, and I was able to, you know what I mean? So it's just when they get there, what they're able to do with it. Because there's a lot of artists that, of the ones we're talking about, that just get viral off of quick stuff and you know, off of like maybe something that's probably not too much substance, but they make a name later, and they you know, solidify like, okay, they the real deal, for real, you know what I mean? So like that's what I do with acting, that's what these people do in music. I have nothing against it, you know what I mean? So hey, do what you do, just make sure with whatever situation you given, you make it count, you know what I mean? You don't just you're gonna flail around putting out the same stuff that you got in for, you know what I mean? Even if it was cool or this, like, you know, now you gotta prove why you need to be there and stay there, you know?
I mean, facts. I mean, you know, and I'm glad you broke it down like that, you know, and to kind of let people know, they gotta understand, what's not for you is not for you anyway. You know what I'm saying? What's for you will be for you. You know, you know, God will deliver what's for you when that time it's your time. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, but when you sitting back being jealous or hating, you know, someone else and what they're doing, worried about how and what they're doing, then it take away your blessings. You just take your blessings away from yourself. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So, you know, it's that's important to always throw out there. You know, speaking of God, are you a Christian? You into your faith and everything like that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what's up. What is it like being a Christian in Hollywood?
I mean, shoot, as long as you not turning from your faith, it's not really, you know what I mean? There's always going to be moments where people are trying to turn you, like pull you over to the dark side, do this, go do crazy, go. And yeah, been in situations like that as well. Just know how to maneuver it. You know what I mean? I won't say it's something so difficult for me where I'm like, oh man, like, I mean, not that everybody at some point has kind of like, okay, either the problem with, temptation with something that you probably shouldn't be doing or doing, or like, you know, more so when I was a kid. But the older I got, the more I had more of my own personal talks with God, my own experiences, not just because my parents told me, oh yeah, this is who you should believe in, because that's the basis of a lot of it when you grow up, you know what I mean, in a Christian or Catholic household or a household of faith, that you just doing it because, okay, this is what I know, this is all I know. But me being able to have my own personal experiences with the Lord and God, and you know what I mean, it's like, okay, that's nothing that's going to really get me to shift from that. You know what I mean? So it's, for me personally, I can't say it was too much of a crazy, like, oh man, you know what I mean? Like, I always know when to, like, okay, when it's probably time to take my leave from a certain area, or probably I shouldn't get in the car with this person. I probably shouldn't, you know, no matter how good the offer looks, like, okay, it's a certain celebrity in your old studio, but it's like, if someone don't feel right about me, and God gonna tell me regardless, I'm gonna feel it. I'm gonna feel it, and I'm just not gonna go in that area, you feel me? So it's like, for me, it's not that crazy of a problem where I had to, like, oh man, this or that, or somebody constantly trying to, because there's always going to be people constantly trying to pull you in a direction you probably shouldn't be in. But it's up to not only you, your knowledge of what you've been through before, and your faith to you know, determine what you do next in those situations.
Man, hey, man, I mean, you couldn't have put that any better. Man, definitely. You know, just to let people know, what are you working on? What you got coming up next, man? You know what I'm saying? Cause you do a little bit of everything. You got the music, you got the acting, you got, you know. So what do you, let the people know what Ozie, aka Z Money, got coming up next?
Yes, sir. First and foremost, I'm gonna knock out this school thing. I'm on my last semester. Been fine. It's been a little touch and go, only because I have been so busy. But just to get that degree, you know, I mean, personally, there's not a specific reason why I chose my major, being criminal justice. Is just genuinely, I just picked it for the sake of picking it. So just to have that degree, and then after finishing that up, I'm definitely trying to go heavy into the writing aspect, like TV writing and film writing. I want to make my own projects. I want to. I've already got my own little co-producer credit on a project called Stepmother 3, and that is on Tubi. And that was my first time kind of, you know, getting into that little headspace of, okay, stepping outside, venturing off of a little bit overacting, but still in that same industry. And I love to create, man. I have so many crazy ideas that I know would go insane for TV series or limited series or movies or this or that. And that's something I want to get heavily involved in. And that's something I want to take a lot serious this year, especially also clothing. I've had an actual clothing brand on the back burner for the longest. Like, I still have it on mock-ups on the designs and stuff like that. It has its name, not saying the name yet. Y'all, until I trademark it. Don't worry about it. What the name is, yeah. But I've also been very, later in life, not my whole life, but just later in life, got very immersed into the fashion world. You know what I mean? I definitely want to try my hand in that. It's not going to be nothing super crazy. It's like, okay, all this, that, and the third, but I want to start off with some, like, you know, some jackets, hoodies, shirts, tees, this, that, and the third. And I'm finally going to put that, especially being taking school out the equation after I finish, then it's like, okay, I get to add that on. That's something I get to now continuously work on. Other than that, I definitely got a lot more music coming up on the Afro side too, because I'm so upset I missed Dirty December. And everybody went back to Nigeria for Christmas this time around. Everybody. I was so upset, man, because we were supposed to go, but I had other works, just work reasons. I wasn't able to, you know what I mean? But like family, other artists, other this, and I have so much, I forget how much pull I have over there, because that's after starting in the industry, that's a lot where I get a lot of my fan base from. That's where when I did the tours and I started gaining fans, when I went with Olamide in the same rooms with DeVito and all these other big, you know what I mean, and did my thing out there, I'll be forgetting, like, wow, that's the pull. And at the time, it's so funny because I was so focused on being an American artist when I was younger. I didn't care about this, and like not that I didn't care. Like, I was cool with Afrobeat, but they kept trying to like push me a little bit to that route, and I was like, it wasn't until later I understood, like, man, how right you guys were. Not only because how big it is here now, when everybody's now just like, oh, hopping on the wave of Afro, and what I've been on it, which is so dope, and I have a bigger love for it. Especially now. And as far as I have a couple things that I have in the works that I'm already finished on, but I definitely want to start doing different projects over there, because it's different when you over there, you know what I mean? Because it's been a minute. It's been 6 years since I've been back. That's the last time I toured. That's the last over there with them. That's the last time I did music over there with them and everything, because, well, being acting, you know what I mean? So and do a lot more collaborations for sure.
Nice.
Like, so I'm ready for that. I'm about to go this year for sure. Afro this year. Project wise, acting wise, I got some possible things coming up later down the road. I can't say too much about it yet. Just this being a series. But for right now, we just gonna, just so when it happens, you're gonna be like, oh shoot, okay, that's what he was talking about. Yeah. But yeah, and ready and wearing for other projects, other projects and getting back to the auditioning thing. And I know it's going to take a minute for a lot of these auditions to start really coming back, because it has, with the fires and everything, specifically in our LA side, everybody needs a minute to kind of, what I mean?
Yeah,
but
we grew.
ready and raring for all of that.
Yeah,
yes,
man.
sir.
Shout out to all of that, man. One thing that I always like to ask, last thing I always like to ask because of the show and the name of the show, what does nothing to something mean to you, Ozie?
Nothing is something. I feel like it's a nice little victory. In my head, I can see it as a victory title that you get to say when you've put in the work. You know what I mean? When I start the nothing for me, not that I've I've had a lot, I got my family, I got God, but starting from the nothing, meaning like I was not in this industry at all. I had no strive to be an actor or be so heavy in the music and this, that, and the third, and all that I've able to accomplish, all the rooms, because of my two mottos being patience, persistence, you know what I mean? And all the times where even as I was succeeding, I still wasn't able to see what I was succeeding, because I'm always looking for the next. But when I finally take a step back, and not only having people remind me, my family, friends, this and that, and other people I've worked with remind me, like, turn around, look at all you've done, look at all you've accomplished, look at all this. So that's what I like in my head. I get to be like, nothing is something. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like I made something. I'm so glad. All the paths I took led me to this point in my life where, and all that I was able to do, I'm so grateful. I owe it to God. I owe it to my family. I owe it to my friends. I owe it to my managers. I owe it to my everybody in my life who was in the positive light, whoever gave me a little like, cheer me on, like, you got this, great things. Yeah, man. That's what it means.
Dope, man. Hey, man, this was great, man.
Yes,
a lot of fun, man. Hey, appreciate you for locking in with your boy Ozie.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
That's a wrap. Hey, now you know a lot more about Ozie, aka Z Money. Hey, it's your boy Paul P. Ozie, love you all. Out of here.
Sir.
Doses.
I had to show